I am going to read you all the source message that I received today because I thought it was so beautiful and amazing. I posted it to my own Facebook page so I can see it again and again and again. So, with that said, May 11th source message. It is the 11th, right? So, repeat. The rest of the year is going to be full of new breakthroughs, rejuvenation, and rebirths. New energy is entering my life, and I'm in constant awe at the way the universe continues to deliver beyond what I have been seeking. I'm financially secure. Money flows to me. I'm at peace. My mind is calm. I radiate health. My body is well. I am grounded. The feet of my spirit are firmly planted in my purpose. My heart is open and my mind is ready. Amen.
So many years ago, I arrived on this planet through a vessel I called Mother. I was just a tiny thought created out of love and incubated in the most perfect environment designed for the creation of life. I came to be because two people decided I should exist, and the universe conspired to support that decision. I was fortunate enough to have all of my toes and all of my fingers, and came into this world kicking and screaming, more than likely in a panic for not knowing where my next meal would come from. Being a 10-pound baby, I probably should have apologized to my mother for that whole birthing experience. I didn't know much about the world I just came into, but I instantly knew that Mother was my person, my one and only. She would take care of my needs and make sure that I thrived. She would be my caregiver, my cook, my nurse, my entertainer, a referee, a personal assistant, my chauffeur, party organizer, life coach, and my greatest teacher. Of course, the list goes on and on. There's so much for me to be grateful for. It's said that the role of mother is equivalent to 2.5 full-time jobs, and I absolutely believe that. I could try to paint a picture of my childhood as being perfect, but that wouldn't be the reality. Life was hard, and mother could often be hard as well. She herself was raised in an abusive situation and never fully got rid of the trauma and excess baggage that she carried, so it was far from perfect. Instead, she stored it away, and on occasion it would burst open and overflow into our lives, even though I have no doubt that she once swore that one day she would have children and love them in all the ways that she didn't feel loved. She would do better than her parents. And isn't that what we all tell ourselves? Isn't that the ultimate goal? To do better. And as parents, isn't that all we want for our children? But sadly, no one ever taught her how to be a parent. She didn't have a good role model and had to learn as she went as best as she could. She had the best of intentions, and even in the bad times, I always knew she loved me and just wanted to protect me from the cruelties of life. But this also put a tremendous burden on me, because in many ways I had to raise the mother who was assigned to raising me. So together we managed to get through with a lot of mistakes and a lot of laughs. Looking back now and having experienced motherhood myself, I can appreciate the long hours, 24/7, caring for someone who never gave as much as they took. And I was such a needy baby, so moody, so demanding, and as a baby with colic, neither of us got much sleep. My mother was absolutely exhausted. And then when Dad left us, her world was torn and turned upside down. She now had 2 young children to care for and had to go back to work full-time in order to support us. At one point, she worked a full-time job and took on 2 part-time jobs at the same time, 3 jobs and raising 2 young children, all the while going back to school to eventually get her master's degree. When I say she was my hero and an incredible role model, it would be an understatement. She never gave up on us, and more importantly, she never gave up on herself. Still, there was a lot of dysfunction in the family, and she carried that with her. And although I did my best to break as many cycles as I could, the wounds still managed to rear their ugly head from time to time, clearly refusing to be exiled forever in just one generation's time. Rather, it required to be slowly chipped away throughout the generations, leaving its ugly mark on many. And how naive to think that I could pave the way for the next generations, my children and theirs, to be free of the family traumas that were so deeply embedded in our genes. I am sorry if I failed them, and yet I must remind myself that just like my mother, I did the best that I could. I too was exhausted, and sometimes having children can take its toll on your health. Mental, physical, emotional exhaustion does not make for a healthy person. Self-care is so important, and you shouldn't ever give away everything you have. You must save a little of the good for yourself. Everyone needs downtime to recuperate from the stresses that come with parenting. Even kids need a break from you every once in a while. I'm not flawless, and babies certainly don't come with a how-to manual. And even if they did, there would be a different book for each child, as each of their personalities and needs are so very different. I had my first son, and have to admit, once we got past the birthing process, payback, I guess, for mine, an emergency C-section to have a 10-pound baby emerge. He was otherwise a relatively easy baby. He was born holding his head up, looking around at his new world, and he was so inquisitive and excited to exist. He slept well and rarely fussed. So I thought, this is a piece of cake. I can do this. Totally, I got this. And so just short of 2 years later, I had my second son, thinking he would be exactly like the first, because I couldn't imagine him being any different and assumed that all babies were the same. Boy, was I wrong. He was the complete opposite, and I didn't understand how needy one little person could be. I called him my Velcro baby because he stuck to me like glue, always wanting all of my attention all of the time. I let some time pass to recuperate, and 4 years later, my youngest came into the world. Another joy and beautiful blessing added to our family. Life was good, or so I thought. What I didn't know was that some of those generational traumas were still popping in from time to time, and like a game of whack-a-mole, I had to do my best to keep them down. I had to put my stuff on the shelf so I could help my kids deal with their stuff. Oh, and if you think you're not doing a great job, trust me, they'll let you know. If they could, they would give you a bad review on Yelp, even having never raised children of their own or knowing exactly how much work goes into it. With all the things you do for them, it's always the one thing you don't do that they remember. They can be so hard to please sometimes, but there must be boundaries as you teach them how to navigate this world. And you may never truly feel appreciated for your efforts, and saying it's the thought that counts doesn't really count. Raising children is quite an experience for sure, and I don't know that there is a definitive right or wrong way to do it. We just do what feels right in the moment and hope for the best. Everything I do in life, and still do, is with the best of intentions, but those intentions may not always be perceived as the way that I hope they would be. No doubt my perception of a perfect life is different than some of yours. And no doubt at times my children's perceptions and expectations were beyond my realm of understanding. When I was growing up, and many of you probably as well, the only responsibilities our parents had was to put a roof over our heads, food on the table, and provide a safe place to sleep at night. The only goal was to keep us alive until adulthood. At least I can say I succeeded at that. And with 3 boys, trust me, it wasn't always easy. It's no longer my job to raise them. I did the best I could and gave it my absolute all. And now as adults, their life and the outcomes of their choices are on them. I'm just the observer now and can only pray that they're always safe, happy, and healthy. And perhaps one day, all of the past generational traumas can be buried with me, never to rear their ugly head again. I guess the point of this is as we celebrate mothers today, even if it's just for their part of bringing you into this world, try to forgive them their imperfections and shortcomings. Try to understand the amount of energy it takes and that not everyone has the stamina for it. Understand they probably never healed their own stuff, but did their best in raising you. Forgive them if it's needed, but do it for yourself because it's such a heavy burden to carry otherwise. It doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with someone who's abusive, but perhaps just a little gratitude for the vehicle that allowed you to get the experience of this amazing thing we call life. It's a privilege to exist. Mostly forgive yourself and know that it wasn't your fault if your upbringing was less than perfect. But also know that once past your childhood, as an adult, you have a responsibility to humanity to be the best that you can be in spite of your beginnings. Healing is on you. You are in control of your destiny and deserve an amazing life. So please try not to waste time in victim mode because it's just an excuse for not taking responsibility for pursuing your dreams and your joys. Take it from someone who knows. Been there, done that. This part of your journey is on you. And know that you are worthy of love, especially your own love. Love yourself in all the ways that you need it. Although life with my mother wasn't always easy, make no mistake, she was there every time I needed her. She helped me when I cried and kissed the boo-boos when I was injured. She gave me the best advice even when I didn't ask for it. And she gave me the space to make mistakes and to grow. She taught me how to be generous and kind. And she taught me that family often are people you choose, not the ones who share your genes. I choose to remember the best of her and not the imperfections, because the best is all that matters. I miss her voice, her laughter, and when things are tough, the way she would say, moving right along, or this too shall pass. I miss the hugs and her companionship. I miss my best friend. And I especially miss how she would say, everything will be okay. And somehow I knew it would be. That was the magic of my mother. Her mere existence made everything all right. Regardless of your situation or the relationship you had with your own mother, I would like to thank each of your mothers for bringing you into this world and into my life. I am so grateful for you all. And if you're lucky enough to still have your mother and have a good relationship, please be sure to give her a hug from me. God bless you all and thank you for listening.